Hello there. So do you know how to get to this page here? It says Spicewood Elementary School, and this is where all of our online resources are. If you were here in kindergarten last year, this is where you've gone to go to PebbleGo, but we have some fabulous resources here. So if you're not sure how to get to this page, be sure to watch my little video that says how to get to our databases. Now, one database that I want to show you is called Britannica School. It's the first one on the list. These are in alphabetical order, ABC order. B is pretty early in the alphabet, and I go across like this and all the way down to my W's. And so I just want to let you know that that's how it's organized. But you click right here on Britannica School, and then from here, you're going to click on elementary, because we're in elementary school. This is middle school and high school. Click on elementary here. Now, I want you to notice that we can search just right away. And if you know your person, this is what I recommend doing, clicking on this button here. But I do want to show you that if you scroll down here, you will see, since we're talking about biographies, you can click on biographies and go this way. Let me tell you why I don't think this is the easiest way for you. Let me click right here. So when I click here on biographies, I will see the alphabet. And so I would have to go through and find the person by the alphabet here. Now, if I change my mind and I say I don't want to use the alphabet, I can still go up to the top of the search button. It's just exactly the same as the other button, and click here and search. And that's the way I will show you. But let me just show you an example. For instance, we are going to be looking up Sam Houston and seeing about this person. So if you think, I'm looking up Sam Houston, what letter am I going to click on? Am I going to click on the S for Sam, or am I going to click on the H for Houston? Now, if you said S for Sam, a lot of people think that. But actually, we're going to be looking at the person's last name. It's always by their last name. And why is that? Well, if we're looking at by their first name, they might have a nickname. It might be a different name. There might be so many people with the same first name that it's hard to put it under that category. So we look under the last name. So Sam Houston, I would click on the H. Now I can go down, and now these are in alphabetical order. So I would have to go all the way down, keep going, until I get to Houston. You can see this is taking me a long time just to find. I'm at the HIs right now. HO is, you have to know the alphabet to put things in alphabetical order. And now I want to keep going. HOU. I'm at the HOs, but I want to go to HOU. Here we go, HOU. Now I can click here, and this will take me, here we go, to this exact same article if we are looking by the search button. And let me just go back and show you the difference. If I click on this back arrow, it will take me back to this search button here. And I am going to, instead of going this way, I'm just going to click on this button right up at the top and search this way. So I'm going to put in the last name, H-O-U-S. And I don't even have to worry about capitalizing or anything. I could just type in the name. And I have not even typed in the entire name. I've only typed in H-O-U-S, and I can see the three things that are coming up here. And one of them happens to be Sam Houston. I don't want Houston, Texas, and I don't want house. I mean, if I typed in the next letter, H-O-U-S-T, then that house would be gone, and I would just have Houston, Texas, or Sam Houston. If I click here, then I would get that. So let me click right here, and it will take us to the same article. Now, let me show you how this article is arranged. So if I look up here, I'm always going to have an introduction, and then I can see other topics. Here's the early life, and entry into politics, and the life in Texas. These are all the categories. Now, do you see this little mark here? This icon lets me expand or collapse this section. So this one here, it's pointing up. So if I click on that, it makes it where I don't see that information. So if I wanted to read about the early life, I can click on that, where it's now pointing down, to expand it, and I can see that information right here. Now you can either read it yourself, or you can press on this button right here to play the information. So if I click this, it will read it to me.
Samuel Houston was born on March 2nd, 1793.
So I'm going to pause it right there, but then I can listen. Now, this is a little bit more advanced reading than Pebble Go, so it might be a little bit trickier. And if I clicked on another one, if I said I want to go back to the introduction and click on here, and I see two things, it might look a little bit messy. So I might say, oh, I'm going to close this where I can just focus on one thing. If I want to close this and then go back here to the life in Texas, then I can do that. And I can read.
Houston
and if I
took
didn't
on
want to
another
read
cause
this
when he
article,
moved to
or if
Texas
maybe I
in
started this
1832.
and wanted
At
to
the
do the
time,
next one, I could
the
jump
people,
here to the
Houston
next
was,
article.
in
Next
1859,
paragraph,
he was
I mean.
elected governor.
Now I'll just pause that because I'm talking at the same time. Okay, a couple things I want to point out. This bar on the right-hand side, this is not really for you so much. For older students, they might need to cite it, and we'll talk about this when you get older. But you might want to make the print size bigger or smaller. So if I'm looking at this, let's say, I'm going to bring up this one because it's just a small amount of information. If I click on the plus, look, those words are getting bigger, and that means it's going to be a little bit easier for me to read. And if I want it smaller, again, I can press on the minus side right here. If you happen to prefer another language, maybe you have a different language as your first language and you think it might be better to read in a different language, you click on the world button here. You click there and you can pick your language that you want to read this article in. So that's kind of fun. All right, so let me think. Oh yes, I want to tell you one more thing. Over here, when you see this information over here, you can see some pictures and sometimes videos, and oftentimes you will see a timeline, which comes in very handy. Now, Sam Houston doesn't happen to have a timeline. He just has 3 pictures. Let me show you an example very quickly of one that does have a timeline. So I'm going to go back up to my search button, and I want to look up Abraham Lincoln. Do we look up first name or last name? Last name is a better choice, but let me show you what happens when we look up first name, because it will still work with the search button. Not when you're pressing the ABCs, it's not going to be there, but when you're just searching, you can type in the first name if you want to. Abraham. So I look and I see Abraham. I don't want this one. I want Abraham Lincoln. See, I can do it either way. Type in the first name, or I can put in Lincoln. And I'm only doing this example because I want to show you the timeline, but I have the memorial, and that's a monument. I don't want that one. I don't want Lincoln, Nebraska. I want Abraham Lincoln, the President of the United States. So I'm going to click on that one. All right, let's see where it's going to take us. Now we have the same kind of setup. You can see that we have the introduction and all of this information here, but this is where I wanted to focus on here. If I click in this spot here, it's going to show me everything that's right down here. You can see if it's a picture, if it's a video. This little video here is 2 minutes and 43 seconds long, and here is the timeline, and more pictures, and another video. So if I want the timeline, I can click right here and look at this. This is so cool because now I can see a timeline, what happened in each of these different time periods. And so when I'm done with this, I can close it right up here with the X, or if I want to see the next thing, the next picture that was in the row, I can just use this button right over here to advance it. Those are pictures, and my video. So if I wanted to play that, I could play that. And it will let me watch this little video.
Abraham Lincoln's mother died when he was 9. The next year.
All right, so I'm going to close that. All right, so that is one wonderful resource, Britannica School.